All right, so I just finished week 2 of Louis Bell's hitmaking class from monthly, so I just wanted to talk about what I've learned and how I'm liking it so far. So I wanted to first address, there was a question that I got from someone about how he mixes vocals. How does Louis mix vocals? And so there's sort of good news and bad news to this. The good news is that he does go through his vocal chain and what he uses. The bad news is that one of the main workhorses of his vocal chain is a plugin that you can't even buy. So Louis Bell is actually developing a vocal mastering chain plugin similar to like CLA Vocals, Maserati, those Waves plugins. He's developing something like that, but the problem is you can't buy it. So it's not even really like you can emulate what he does anyway, which kind of sucks. So that part was kind of a disappointment, but he does have other effects that you can see that he uses. He has the typical auto tune. He uses soothe, which is some sort of resonance control, and he uses some other things that you can see as you watch him in the process. But the main thing that he uses is a plugin that you can't even get, which was pretty annoying. But I imagine if you have CLA vocals or something like that, I feel like you could probably get somewhat close to what he does. Okay, aside from that annoyance, Louis does go into some good detail, and a lot of this week was lyric writing for the most part. So let's dive into the dashboard, and I'll kind of show you what I've worked on. So, unfortunately, as you can see from this, I have a lot of stuff that is past due. Oops. A lot of it is stuff that have done, but I haven't actually like uploaded it and recorded it. But let's kind of go through and I'll kind of show you what I've done and what we've done in the course so far. So I think when we left off, I had shown you that we had done some peer feedback on melody. And so in this next thing, Louis goes through his lyric writing process. And I'll be honest, it's nothing that is really groundbreaking. He takes sort of this reverse approach. So he actually starts from the chorus. He's like, okay, what's this meaning and message of this song, and then working back from there. So this whole video is him basically listening through the track and trying to mumble out words, phrases, things that make sense and things that fit with the overall message and emotion of the song. And so while there's not really like a recipe, like do this first, do this, then this, it's cool because he at least talks through a lot about why he doesn't decide to go with certain lyric choices and why he decides to go with other ones. So he definitely does a lot of thinking out loud, which I find to be very helpful. But if you're looking for a real step-by-step guide, this isn't it. Again, I'll keep saying this. This is a workflow course, and this is really designed to give you an idea of how can I adopt a really good workflow to make songs. So that's what he does in this. So then the next part is writing chorus lyrics, and while I did not record the chorus lyrics yet, I do have them written out. So I just kind of used a notepad, and so these are all just kind of like lines that I was writing out, and then past here, the dotted line is the actual like final lyrics. So basically these lyrics here would basically be the chorus of the song. And so ideally in the next video I'll be able to share that with you and how it sounds with the melody. So that's what I did for the chorus, and it's tough because it's not so intuitive to me to figure out what a song means and what the meaning of the song should be. But then again, I've only written 4 songs this year and like 4 complete songs with lyrics ever, so I assume that over time that'll just get easier. So now we go to writing the rest of the song, and so in this it's a little bit misleading because the rest of the song is basically writing verse lyrics and pre-chorus lyrics, and so he takes a backwards approach. So Louis starts with pre-chorus lyrics, and he basically has this thought process of, okay, well, I have this main meaning for the chorus, so now I have to find a good message to build up to whatever the main theme is. So what supporting details will add to the chorus. And so he goes through that, and he kind of goes through the fact that, once you get the chorus and the pre-chorus, those parts tend to repeat, so you want to spend more time on those. And then he goes through writing a first verse, which is just details and imagery and just things that help reinforce the message of the chorus. So he goes through just like he did with the other videos. So just trying line by line, figuring out what lines work, what doesn't, and kind of talking you through why he feels some lines are better than others. And that's what he does through the whole thing. The only issue is when I think rest of the song, I think, oh, he's going to do verse 2, we're going to do a bridge. No, it's just the first verse and verse pre-chorus. And I get it, like the second verse is going to be the exact same process of the first, so why repeat it? But it still would have been nice to see, and especially would have been nice to see a bridge section. He doesn't even talk about writing a bridge, which has historically been challenging for me, so I would have liked to see him do that, but okay, that's fine. I'll live. All right, so then the next thing, I had to finish writing the song, and so while not recorded, I did do that. So I have the first verse here, or not, well, here's my pre-chorus, all right, so that's the part that would repeat. And then here is the first verse that I have, both these paragraphs there, or stanzas, whatever you call them. And then this would be my second verse here. And then the pre-chorus just repeats, and the chorus repeats. And then I just have to figure out, since Louis doesn't really cover it, whether or not my song would even benefit from having a bridge, and then figuring out some lyrics to go on top of that. All right, so that is pretty much what he did for that section. And then again, just like the other one, I submit peer feedback. I haven't actually done it yet, so I need to do that. But basically, once you're done doing this, then you give peer feedback to 3 other people. So I'll be sure to do that a little bit later today. All right, what else? Okay, so then once we kind of blast through that, I did go through these. So for this was a cool video because it kind of goes through his mixing process and adding drums. Drums are one of the things that he adds last, which I find kind of interesting. So he goes through and he first just makes sure a lot of his synths, pianos all mesh well. Louis does a ton of automation, especially when it comes to managing things like volume and low pass, which again isn't something that I've done a lot of. I mean, I do automation, but not anywhere near to the extent that Louis does. He uses tons of curves. For example, he'll build up the filter and volume during the pre-chorus, drop off, and then boom, go into the chorus. So he kind of goes through different elements like that to just make the song flow and build the appropriate amount of energy where needed, and then cut the energy also where needed. So he goes through that, adding reverb where needed. He adds drums. All of his drums are just samples that he happens to have. He has a collection of favorites that he uses, and so he puts those in there. And so he talks about having both sub bass and sort of a regular analog bass, and how to control the frequencies so that they're not clashing, as well as making it mesh well with the kick. And then he doesn't go through like crazy drum sounds. I mean, he basically has a kick, snare, hats, sub bass, and that's pretty much it. And then he kind of goes through and arranges them in the track. And that's pretty much most of what he does here. Again, he's working from the premise of first verse, pre-chorus, chorus. So he doesn't really talk about a bridge. And he does have the arrangement for the second verse and some variation to add to make it interesting. But again, no bridge. I'm going to keep harping on that. I wish he would have done that. Oh well. Okay, and then the next part is just mixing and polishing. So in this, he basically just does more mixing. So first, he mixes without the vocals. So he actually mixes all of his instrumentals first, because he mentions that the vocals can sort of just distract him, which makes sense. And then he adds the vocals in, and then mixes everything with the vocals on them. So this video, I mean, it's relatively shorter, but it's just him making sure the levels are right. Louis doesn't talk about mastering at all. In fact, in the end of this video, he talks about how this would be the part where he sends it to a mastering company to master. I think a lot of people are going to be upset about that. I don't really care because I more like the creation aspect of music. I don't really much care for the nitty gritty mixing and mastering things, and that's probably something in the future I'm going to outsource anyway. But for those of you who are into that, just know that he doesn't really go into any depth at all when it comes to mastering. So just so you know. And then, yeah, so this is pretty much where I'm at now. This is, I think, due today, which is not good because I'm nowhere near done with my song. But hey, that's life. You know, working a full-time job, life gets in the way. It gets hard to do. It's hard to finish the deadline. But the thing that I do like about this course is that I am making songs much faster than I were if I weren't doing this course. And so that's one of the things that I do really like about it, because you are in a community. You sort of feel this pressure to want to submit things on time. Because now I have this little glaring error that, oh, hey, I have things that are 5 days past due. Oops, I need to do that. And so it just sort of lights a fire a little bit to get things going and just get you on track with writing more songs. At the end of the day, yeah, you'll probably learn some cool little technical details along the way, but this really is to get you just writing songs more efficiently and faster, because the more you do it and the more repetition that you engage with in writing, it's just going to become a lot easier. And I'm starting to sort of appreciate that a lot of the stuff that I learn in here isn't like the nitty gritty stuff that I would learn if I watch a YouTube tutorial. It's more just, how can I make my workflow super efficient, and so that I can actually make more songs that people can listen to and enjoy. And so that's where I'm at. Okay, so I hope that you have enjoyed, and I think that's everything that I wanted to touch on in this video. So stay tuned for next time. I'm actually going to be going out of town next weekend, so we'll see how this works. I'm going to be out of town for a week to take a little vacation. So I'll try to upload, but I can't guarantee it's going to happen. And I don't even know how this whole monthly class is going to finish out, because the second part of this is a collaboration, and it's going to be kind of hard to collaborate when I'm on vacation. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, but take care and stay tuned for the next video, and I will see you next time.